Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to take you on a little trip down memory lane, back to a time when things were, well, a whole lot different. I was reminiscing the other day about my very first car. I saved up for what felt like an eternity and finally bought it. The grand total? $3,000. Can you even imagine that today? I was looking at car prices recently, and the average family car is now tens of thousands of dollars. It's enough to make your head spin. It really got me thinking about just how much has changed between the cars we grew up with and the marvels of engineering we drive today. So let's talk about my $3,000 beauty. What did that get you back in, say, the 1970s? Well, it got you 4 wheels and an engine, that's for sure. But the features? Oh, the features were something else. You wanted some fresh air? You didn't push a button. You grabbed that little crank on the door and you worked for it. Rolling down the window was a mini workout, especially if the crank was a bit sticky. And air conditioning, that wasn't standard. That was high-end luxury, like having a chauffeur. For most of us, AC meant rolling down all 4 windows and hoping for a breeze. On a hot summer day, those vinyl seats could give you a first-degree burn. And the entertainment system? Forget touchscreens and Bluetooth. We had an AM/FM radio, and if you were lucky, it had a button for FM. You turned a big clunky knob to find a station, and the signal would fade in and out as you drove. There was a certain art to finding that sweet spot where the music came in clear. No satellite radio, no podcasts, just you, the open road, and whatever the local DJ decided to play. It was simple, but you know what? We loved it. We'd sing along at the top of our lungs to whatever came on. Now let's get into what it actually felt like to drive one of those old beasts. We talk about feeling the road today, but back then you didn't have a choice. Power steering? That was for fancy cars. Most of us were building up our bicep muscles just trying to parallel park. You had to really put your back into turning that wheel, especially at low speeds. It was a physical experience. And power brakes? Not always a given. You had to plan your stops and really press down on that pedal. You felt every bump, every groove, every pothole. The car communicated with you directly, without any computers in between. It was a more direct mechanical connection between driver and machine. It demanded your full attention, which in some ways made you a more engaged driver. But let's be honest, while we're getting all nostalgic, there's one area where today's cars win, hands down: safety. Or, as I like to think of it, the shocking lack of safety back then. Do you remember seatbelts? We had them, sure, but they were usually just a lap belt. That single strap across your waist was the height of safety technology. Shoulder belts came later. The idea of an airbag was pure science fiction. The cars themselves were built like tanks, made of heavy steel. The thinking was that a heavier car was a safer car. We now know that's not quite right. Modern cars are designed to crumple in specific ways to absorb the impact of a crash and protect the people inside. And all those little helpers we take for granted now, they just didn't exist. Backup cameras. We used our necks. You turned your whole body around and looked out the back window. Blind spot warnings. That was a quick glance over your shoulder and a prayer. Lane keep assist. The lines on the road were your lane keep assist. It's truly amazing when you stop and think about the invisible bubble of safety that surrounds us in a modern vehicle. From anti-lock brakes to traction control, our cars are constantly working to keep us safe in ways we couldn't have even dreamed of back then. It's a trade-off, I suppose. We lost some of that raw mechanical feel, but what we gained in peace of mind is priceless. Let's talk about one of my fondest memories, the full-service gas station. You'd pull up, a bell would ding, and an attendant in a uniform would come out to greet you. "Fill her up?" he'd ask, and you'd say, "Yes, please, regular." And then the magic happened. While the gas was pumping, he'd pop the hood and check your oil. He'd take out a squeegee and clean your front and back windshields until they sparkled. It was a moment of service, a human connection. And the price? I remember being outraged when gas hit 50 cents a gallon. Can you believe it? Today we swipe a card, pump our own gas, and maybe grab a coffee inside. It's efficient, but that little bit of personal service is something I truly miss. It felt like people were looking out for you and your car. So, were the old days better? It's a tough question. There was a beautiful simplicity to those old cars. You could open the hood and actually see the engine. You could understand how it worked. They had character, they had quirks. They weren't perfect, but they were ours. But I wouldn't trade the safety and reliability of a modern car for anything, especially when I have my grandkids in the back seat. The technology that keeps us safe, the comfort that makes long drives a pleasure. That's progress you can't argue with. Those old cars gave us freedom and memories that will last a lifetime. Today's cars give us peace of mind and convenience. I guess the perfect car would be a mix of both, wouldn't it? A little bit of that old school soul with all the modern day smarts. What about you? What was your first car? What do you miss most about the old days of driving? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to read your stories. Thanks for taking this little drive down memory lane with me. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more stories. Until next time, drive safe and take care.